Hello, you wonderful people. Welcome back to another video. Today, we are talking about something so critical to any success on social media, and that is creating a social media strategy. We're going to take you step by step through how to create an effective strategy that gets you results. Let's dive in.
So you might have heard people say like you need to create a social media strategy, but you might not actually know what that is. So what is a social media strategy? Essentially, it's a roadmap that you follow that helps you fulfill all of your social media goals. And it's what you're going to base all of your social media activities around. Just like with anything in life, if you don't have a strategy, you're not really that likely to succeed. So really what it is putting all of your goals, objectives, dreams, all of those things in an actionable plan and then following that through with all of the different activities after that. We've put together a free social media strategy template for you guys. And what you could do if you want to follow along this video, you can pause it right here. Hit the link in the description, download the form, and it's actually a fillable PDF. So you can type everything right into that PDF.
We ain't messing around. But I also want to say, the members got it first, okay? So they got that last month. So if you're interested in having these resources available to you earlier, some things that we release full publicly, some things only available in our shop, and if you want live Q&As, we're actually going to be doing a live Q&A with the social media strategy and actually going through it, a full run through with like a fake business, you know, pretending we have a different type of business. So if you want to, you know, take advantage of things like that, just check the link in the description box below, not only for the PDF, but for the membership.
Come through.
Now, the first step to creating a social media strategy is to create clear social media objectives. Now, these social media objectives will always ladder back up to your goals. When you consider objectives, that means it's something that is measurable and manageable. So for example, if we owned a skincare product line, our business goal would be to attract new customers. The social media objective would be something that's more in the social media realm, which is increase brand awareness. It's measurable, which is the key. And then the measurement tools that we would use would look like, or metrics say, would be reach, which tells us about brand awareness, could be engagement as well, and it also could be followers. And we would actually tie a number to that, which would say we want to increase our reach by 30%, or we want to grow our follower base to 5,000 or by 5,000. What is really important here though is if you're starting from zero, don't just throw like a random number out like 500,000. Be conservative, because if you're not conservative, you're also going to disappoint yourself. I would say in the first year, setting a goal for 1,000 followers is incredible. 1,000 followers is awesome. Remember, that's 1,000 people potentially in a room that would be interested in you. You would need a massive room. So that's a good number. What you can also do alternatively, if you already have some history and historical data, you can look into your insights and use those as benchmarks. So if you grew by 2,000 last year, you might want to hit 10% more. You might want to say 30% more, however ambitious you choose to be. And then you continue to check in on yourself as the year and as the months progress.
The next step in creating your social media strategy is to narrow down your target audience. So as the old saying goes, if you market to everyone, you market to no one. So what you want to do from the beginning is be extremely clear about what you do, what service you provide, and who you are servicing, like what your exact audience is. And there's a number of ways to look at that and to kind of measure the exact person or determine who that exact person is. And that includes things like demographics. So that is the age, gender, profession, all those type of things. What are their interests? What are they into? What do they like? What do they do? Where do they shop? What do they eat? Who or what else do they follow? So you want to see what other brands they're following, what other creators, what are they actually engaging with? And what you can do once you determine who and which other brands that they're actually engaging with, you can sort of study the way that that brand or that creator engages with their audience, and then you'll be able to get some inspiration from that. So take a look at that, because you will need some of that for the next section.
Yes, especially when thinking about content ideation.
Yes,
for sure.
Absolutely. What other social platforms are they on? Obviously, not everybody that you're targeting is going to be on everything. There's going to be certain places that people live. Every niche will have its own place that they tend to congregate. So you're definitely going to want to figure that out.
And think about groups too in that. I just want to say too, like
Groups are
Facebook
amazing.
groups are another thing. Don't sleep on that as
No,
well, because
very
there are real rich communities in there that are super active. So
Yes.
wanted to throw that in.
Absolutely. Another thing is, what are their pain points? What are they having problems with? What do they need solving? And essentially that comes back to what can you help them with? So you want to align the solution you provide to the pain points that your specific target audience is having. So take some time, go through all of those points. They're genuinely important, and though whilst you're doing it for social media primarily, it's going to help you in your business if you haven't done this already. Now, if you have done it for your business, it's highly probable that a lot of that information will carry across to social media.
For sure.
But of course, you need to look into those other things, such as the other pages that they're following. And you can check your insights as well. If you're a brand new account, probably can't do that. But if you've been around for a bit, you could check your insights and actually see who is engaging with you and use some of those learnings to determine your exact target audience in a little bit more granular detail.
The next very important step is to develop your content pillars.
Oh, yeah.
So content pillars are the topics or subjects that you'll be creating content on and be talking about that directly ladder back up to your social media and your business goals. Very, very important. And a common misconception that we see is that, a content pillar is inspirational as a content pillar, or educational as a content pillar, or entertaining. Those are not pillars. You're right to have this mindset and be thinking about that, but what that actually represents is more the theme or tone or feeling behind your content. Every piece of good content should be one of those things. That's what valuable content is. That just overall is good content. But when we're talking about content pillars, that means you should have something that potentially could be a tip, like for us, for example, content creation tips or Instagram for business tips is a content pillar. And in that, we can have fun with education, or we can do memes, which is under the entertainment, or we could just inspire you to create, which would be inspirational. That's the feeling, the theme, the tone of the piece of content. But what those do are ladder back up to our agency services that we actually provide. Another example, using the skincare line that we talked about earlier when we were talking about social media objectives, would be all natural ingredients would be our pillar. So what that would look like is that we would highlight the ingredients through perhaps inspirational content, but the content's inspirational. The pillar is the all natural ingredients. We might also educate our customers and potential customers by letting them know about the farmers or whatever places we're actually pulling these ingredients for. So that's what you want to be thinking about. It's inspirational is the theme and tone, and then the actual pillar is, what am I talking about? That's the topic, that's the subject. Once you've gotten those content pillars together, you're going to want to sit down and do a full ideas dump. Now, we recommend only 3 to 5 pillars because you want to keep your content consistent, and you'll notice on the PDF that we gave you that you're going to see that there's only up to 5 spots there for that reason. Then we have a few pages where you can go in and just dump a bunch of ideas, and that's really going to help when you start saying like, okay, when I want to put my calendar together, what can I actually put on the calendar? And you'll have a bunch of ideas to pull from.
The next step in your social media strategy is to decide on the content types and formats, all based on your content pillars. So a content type are things like, say, a meme, a get ready with me, a day in the life, a behind the scenes. And then a format are reels, carousel, an image, stories, etc. So all of those can come under that pillar. And then when you go to create the content, you already know that, okay, well, under this particular pillar, I know that I'm going to be doing a day in the life vlog once a month. And then you're able to create that immediately, and it's going to be a reel, boom, and you know what you're doing. Super simple. And for the types of content, like we mentioned earlier about researching other brands and creators that your target market follows and other ones that are performing really well in your industry and niche, see what types of content they're creating and what's performing really well, because that'll guide you as to which types of content you should be creating. So if you're in a niche where reels are killing it, reels it is. Carousels are doing amazing in a lot of niches right now. And we recently did a video, this one right here, which goes through a study that shows the reels reach is going down and the carousels are on the rise, y'all.
And stories.
And stories as well, of course, and DMs. All those things are absolutely dominating on Instagram, and that's what we think is going to happen this year. So check that out if you want to learn a bit more about that. And also keep in mind the different types of content that can be cross promoted or cross-posted. So obviously, if you produce a short-form video, say for a reel, you of course can post that on TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and Facebook Reels.
And Pinterest.
And Pinterest, of course. And you can put on LinkedIn too if you really want. But you could also do that with carousels. They work really well on Facebook, obviously on Instagram and LinkedIn and other different formats. So definitely keep that in mind when you're picking your content types.
The next step to creating a very effective social media strategy is to choose the right social media platforms. So these are the platforms that you are going to decide and commit to showing up on, and it does not need to be every platform. No. You want to make that super clear. You don't need to do that. You just need to be where your audience is, based on the discovery that you did when we talked about the target audience section there. So what we recommend is that you have primary platforms and you have secondary platforms. Yes. The primary platforms are the ones that are going to get a lot of your time and effort and attention. They might be the ones that you create net new content for. And then your secondary platforms are the ones that you can repurpose to. So yes. For example, that could look like Instagram and Pinterest being your primary platforms, and then your secondary platforms being YouTube Shorts, because the discovery is like 1000% on there. So good on YouTube Shorts, and then maybe TikTok and Facebook or LinkedIn, just depending on where your audience actually is.
The next step in your social media strategy is to decide on your posting frequency. So your first step is to decide how many posts per week or per month that you'd like to do. We would strongly suggest that you pick a consistency and a cadence that you can keep up with. So don't go doing 5 posts one week, no post the next week, 1 post the week after. Do something that you can stick with. So if that's 1 post a week, so be it. That's okay. You know, maybe you could ramp it up later once you get into the batching, which is actually the next part.
And manage your expectations. I just do want to say that if you do post once a week, you have to manage your expectations that you likely won't grow fast. Yeah. So that's why your social media objectives are important there. Because if you produce more, you likely will see more results because you just have more content out there, which is more opportunities to increase your reach or increase your likelihood of having someone follow you. So just manage your expectations. Yeah.
No, great point. And also though, there is a top end to that often. So maybe you might produce too much content and it just stops performing. So there's going to be a sweet spot, and that just comes with testing. Everything, as we always say, always be testing.
Yeah.
And then the next part is to figure out when you're going to actually create that content. And we are evangelists of batching. It's the only way to do it efficiently. So it doesn't always have to be in the same day. You can have 1 day for concepts, 1 day for caption writing, 1 day for scripting if you're going to be doing videos, another day for shooting, another day for editing, whatever it is, whatever works for you. But see if you can plan ahead. And, you know, right now, whatever month you're in, look to the next month, and you want to be creating for the month ahead. You really want to be getting ahead of time just to make it as easy on you as possible so that you can have the content created, captions written, all scheduled, you're all good to go, and then you can worry about what's happening the next month. Now, not all industries allow for that, and definitely understood, so it's not the end of the world, but as far ahead as you're able to batch, it's just going to take a bit of a weight off your shoulders. So see what you can do.
Minimum a week.
Minimum a week.
Minimum
a
week.
Sure.
Yeah.
You don't want to be...
Otherwise, you're too stressed.
It's too much, and then you go into that inaction again. And I know that happens a lot for a lot of folks, according to our comments, and I completely understand. So batching is the answer to that inaction.
Yeah, Thursday and a Sunday. Look, just 2 days we just gave you there.
Boom.
There you go. Boom.
Easy.
So to keep things simple, those are the main elements that we want to discuss today. Those are the key elements, and that's what we've included in the PDF for you. But some things that you could also add would be what tools you plan to use. So for example, that could look like Planoly, which we've talked about on the channel before, or Later. These are both scheduling tools. Meta Business Suite is a free scheduling tool, but of course it's only on Meta platforms, so you'd only be able to use Facebook and Instagram. You might also want to include what equipment you're going to use for that too. So, you know, are you looking to purchase a camera? All the equipment we use is in our description box below. But you could, you know, list out these things as well to help you as your go-tos of what you want to do. Notion, for example, something we love. It's where we plan our content calendar as well.
Another thing that you're going to want to do that we didn't include here is to track your metrics. So that's really important, particularly once you've started posting. You're going to want to know how things are performing, because you might be able to identify that maybe carousels perform better than reels, or day in the life vlogs perform better than something else. So you want to keep an eye on that. Now, if you want to actually take some notes and jot down some metrics, we actually have a metrics tracker in our digital store, which is linked in the description below. So you can grab that and you can pop in all of your metrics for the year, and you're able to basically have a look at that at a glance and know exactly what's going on.
Another thing that we also include in all of our client strategies is our influencer strategy.
Yeah.
So what's that going to look like? We didn't include that here because everyone might not be ready for it. It's not something we've really talked about in full on the channel. So if you do want influencer content, like how to find the right influencer, what to look for, what type of script to send them, what to ask for, what analytics to track, definitely happy to do that. Just let us know, because we like to create with things that you actually want and need, not just things that we just randomly want to throw out there. So let us know, because obviously influencers are a really key part of any strategy when it comes to increasing your brand awareness. And it has been a massive strategy for us in terms of getting some really great results for our clients as well.
Absolutely.
So that's a section that you could add, or something that you might want to note as well if you plan to move forward with an influencer strategy. So that is it. Again, you can download the PDF in the description box below. It is entirely free and you can fill it out. It's really, really simple. Once you have everything mapped out and laid out in front of you, it is so important to do though. You should not be posting without a strategy. You are wasting time. We can't say this enough, because you need to understand what's working and what's not working. You'll only be able to manage that and measure that with something to actually refer back to.
Yeah.
So if you like this video, give us a thumbs up. Thank you so much for coming back to watch another one, and we definitely recommend you check out this one next. Lots of good stuff in there for you. We'll see you in the next one.
Peace.